Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, why are these guys really undefeated? And it's because these guys are bum bashers. Let's just be honest and unbiased. These guys are not being held to the same standard of every other great champion that's around. And Tyson Fury says he's an elite level fighter, says he's the best heavyweight. He really could be the best heavyweight. He really could be the guy that no one can beat. We don't know that for sure until everyone gets in the ring with everyone, period. It's all just speculation. But what we do know is he's not fighting the top level of competition. If you look at Tyson Fury's resume, he's fought nothing but bums, with the exception of two fighters that were step-up challenges, Deontay Wilder and Vladimir Klitschko. But even in those bouts, there's some question marks. One with Klitschko, yes, he beat Klitschko convincingly, no doubt about it. But when you have someone take a belt from a champion, there should be a rematch. There needs to be a rematch. There needs to be closure to that chapter. And you see that Tyson Fury did everything he could to get away from that rematch. He's not interested in fighting Vladimir Klitschko again, and he refused to allow that to happen. Yes, he spiraled out of control, but partially because he didn't want that rematch. Tyson Fury is notorious for pulling out of rematches with guys that will be very difficult. Now, when you look at Deontay Wilder, he fought Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is probably the most technically flawed boxer, period, in history. He has more flaws technically than anyone I've ever seen in boxing. He's just not a good boxer. He only has a right hand, and once he lands it, you either go to sleep, but more recently, guys have been getting up. So kudos to Tyson for getting up. But when you look at it like that, he was robbed against Deontay Wilder, but this guy is the most flawed fighter. He wasn't even the biggest name when you came back. He wasn't. Anthony Joshua was. Anthony Joshua was the biggest name with the most belts. You say he's robotic, you say he's garbage, then you should have fought him and took the belts. That's what he should have done. Everyone keeps getting a pass for fighting lower tier competition, but the top guys in boxing don't. And when you look at the top guys in boxing who don't get a pass, let's just break them down. Anthony Joshua doesn't get a pass for fighting bums. Now, if you look at it like this, if you look at Anthony Joshua's resume, a guy in about 23 fights, he's fought, Alexander Povetkin, Joseph Parker, Vladimir Klitschko. Carlos Takam was a replacement opponent, and he's still quality. At the end of the day, he's fighting higher level competition, high ranked opponents, and world champions, Hall of Famers, top level guys. When you look at Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, these guys are bum bashing fight after fight after fight. Deontay Wilder's fighting a 40-year-old Luis Ortiz who barely passes a physical to get a fight on blood pressure medications, and he was almost stopped in the 7th. The fact that Anthony Joshua lost to Andy Ruiz, a guy who's in his prime, a guy who was vastly underrated by the entire boxing world, who most people regard as undefeated, for being robbed against a Joseph Parker. At the end of the day, Andy Ruiz is levels above Tom Schwartz, and anyone that says he's not does not understand boxing. That's what we call a casual boxing fan. You see Tyson Fury at almost 30 fights, and he's bum bashed his way up. You see Deontay Wilder at over 40 fights, and he's bum bashed his way up. You say, well, look at Anthony Joshua. He's fought Dominic Breazeale. Anthony Joshua fought Dominic Breazeale when Dominic Breazeale was undefeated in 2016. Undefeated in 2016, and stopped him. At the end of the day, Deontay Wilder should not be facing the level of a Dominic Breazeale in 40 plus fights. And people say, well, that was his mandatory. Well, first of all, at the end of the day, we all know Dillian White should have been his mandatory. So you get credit when you face Dillian White. And that would have been for Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Both of those guys walked away from that fight. Both of those guys avoided that fight, just like both of those guys avoided an Anthony Joshua fight. Andy Ruiz stepped up and took that fight with Anthony Joshua, and I believe Andy Ruiz is the type of guy that'll step up and take a fight against a Dillian White. At the end of the day, these guys are only undefeated because they bum bash fight after fight after fight. If Tyson Fury fought the best fighters again and again and again, we don't know if he would have been in trouble. We don't know because he hasn't done it. Same with Deontay Wilder. When his few fights where he had to step up slightly in the competition against an old Ortiz or an out-of-shape Fury, he struggled mightily, and everyone believed he lost to Tyson Fury. So at the end of the day, if he fought the same level of opposition as Anthony Joshua, as Canelo Alvarez, as Terrence Crawford, as the top levels of boxers in boxing, these guys would have already taken an L. But once again, unbiased as always, it's the IBFP. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.